Hey there, Brian Vantoff here with RE/MAX Advantage Plus, Ramsey Trusted, and HomeLight. We are post-election, and now I guess we just have to look forward to Thanksgiving dinner and any of the discussions that may come up that talk about kind of the post-mortem on the election and just why your guy won or why your lady lost. Today's the 7th. We are 3 weeks away from Thanksgiving. So I know a lot of you do a little preliminary shopping, get some things done and out of the way early. I know for our family, we need to get to Trader Joe's to get the fried onions that we put in the green bean casserole and the cream of mushroom soup that goes in the green bean casserole. First though, let's talk about real estate. Let's talk about what's going on in the real estate market, look at some predictions on what's now going to happen for 2025 now that we are past the election, and just really have a discussion on kind of where things are at. Let's look at the previous week though. We're talking about that 50-mile radius of downtown Minneapolis in Minnesota of previously owned homes. We saw 709 new listings in the past 7 days. That's 116 less than the previous week and 81 fewer than the same week last year at this time. 135 did sell in the first week. That's down 7 from last week. We have a total of 5,573 single-family homes, townhomes, and condos on the market, which is down 234 from the previous week. So we did see a reduction in available homes. It's not necessarily that I didn't predict that. We do see a trend downward in available inventory as we get into November. You'll get some sellers who allowed their house to come off the market at the end of October. And that's part of the reason why you're seeing decreased inventory, where those sellers are now waiting until after the new year to put their homes back on the market. But that's part of why we did see, really a pretty significant, almost 5% or right around 5% reduction in available homes that were on the market. And so again, we are seeing a little bit less selection this week than we saw last week. The 5,573 available homes is over 17% more than what we had at this time last year. So you still have really good selection to pick from. We haven't seen this level of inventory since late 2020. So we are at our highs in available inventory for the past 4 years right now. So we are seeing some good selection for buyers out there and sellers who are looking to sell. Of the total available, 3,509 are single-family homes. That's 163 less than last week. Median listing price of $450,000. That is unchanged from last week. 1,128 of those available are townhouses. That's down 27 from last week. Median listing price at $297,950. That's down just slightly from last week. Condos made up 963 of the available total. That's down 44 from last week. Median listing price at $200,000. Median listing price on condos this week is down 10 grand from the previous week. 600 homes went from active to pending. That's down 32. 683 went from pending to sold. And I did not do coming soon numbers, so I apologize. I did miss that stat for the week. The Fed did announce a 25 basis point rate cut here today, just before I'm putting this video together. But mortgage rates are pretty much unchanged from last week. It might be down just minusculely, but it didn't really impact mortgage rates. A good mortgage broker is going to have you between 6.5 and 6.875 right now, as of this afternoon. So again, that's roughly the same as where we were last week. 1 year ago, we were about 0.25% higher. 6 months ago, we were about 1/8% higher. So we're still within range of where things have been at. I know since our lows in mid-September, we've seen a steady climb in mortgage rates, but we are not really that much different than where we were 6 months ago or a year ago when our rates were higher. And we might be able to hopefully expect that mortgage rates will come down here in the first quarter of 2025. Can't count on that just based on a number of economic factors that are going on. We don't know for sure what the world looks like in Q1 and Q2, but I am kind of anticipating that we will see I'm thinking around 6% hitting us in the next 5 to 6 months here. We did see total activity on showings go down by about 13% over the past 7 days compared to the previous week. Showings per listing, the 10,700 showings requested in the past 7 days is down significantly from where we were the prior week, again by that 13% roughly. Showings per listing dropped to 2.59 from 2.81. Last year, showings per listing were at 2.73, so we did have more showing activity per listing last week than what we have this year. Again, really a lot of this is election related as far as the slowdown goes, and I'll talk about that here a little bit more at the end. But looking at October 2024 closed sales, if I look at all of October 2024 of those previously owned homes within that 50-mile radius of downtown Minneapolis, for October, we had 3,505 closed sales. Total sales for October 2024 were 8% higher than the prior October and 6% higher than September. So we actually had more closed sales in October than we did in September, when you typically see less sales in October, less closed sales in October than you do see in September. However, what we saw was many buyers did take advantage of really what were 16-month lows in mortgage rates. So what we saw for September is buyers were active in September, making offers on properties that closed in October because they were able to lock in at 16-month mortgage rate lows in the month of September, in middle of September. So that's part of the reason why we saw more October closed sales than September closed sales, when typically it would be higher September and then lower October. Of the total 3,505 sales, 2,627 were single-family homes at a median close price of $397,000 versus a listing price of $400,000, meaning sellers were getting on average $3,000 less than the listing price on their homes. Townhouses made up 653 of the sales at a median close price of $289,000 versus a listing price of $290,000. Condos, so not much change in townhouse prices compared to most sellers for townhouses are getting very close to full list price. Condos made up 234 of the closed sales at a median close price of $207,000 versus a listing price of $212,000. Median single-family home sale prices were 4.5% higher this year in price than last year, while townhouse prices stayed about the same compared to last year, and condos were down 7% median price. Now, the condos have a smaller sample size. There's a little bit more discrepancy there, but just something to keep in mind. Single-family home prices continued to truck upwards. Townhouses stayed relatively flat compared to last year. For condos, it might have been down slightly. So let's talk a little bit about what generally happens after a presidential election when it comes to national sales of existing homes. In any given year, home sales typically slow down in the fall. It's typical. It's just the seasonal trend. That's just the way it is. In a non-election year, home sales typically drop in October and November by about 10%. In election years, those same months, October and November, see total sales drops of about 15%. So election years do tend to lean towards lower sales volume. Why? Uncertainty. Everybody's panicking about what the next president is going to bring, what he or she is, what their economic policies look like. The reality is most presidential elections don't really impact the real estate market. It's just the perception of the election that impacts the real estate market. According to a survey done by Redfin, 23% of potential first-time home buyers said they were waiting until after the election to buy. History does show sales tend to rebound after the election is over, however. Prior to this election, in the past 11 elections, 9 out of 11 of the years following the election year, the volume of sales, the number of home sales went up in the year after the election. So if history is indicative of future results, we can be confident that 2025 will be a busier year than this year when it comes to homes available for sale. That's what you can expect. So a lot of sources are kind of telling me, or that I'm reading, are saying that we should see total volume of sales probably about 12 to 15% higher in 2025 than we saw in 2024. And that could actually be higher if mortgage rates do come down. So we could see a more than 15% increase in total sales volume in 2025 if mortgage rates get into the fives. I'm not sure we'll get there, but if mortgage rates get into the fives, you could see a greater than 15% increase in sales activity. So that's part of what we see behind the slowdown. But it is a great time if you set yourself up to be a buyer now. As I've repeated since July or maybe June, this is the best time of year to be a buyer. If you'd like to have a conversation about your real estate goals, about putting a plan in place that makes sense for you, it's certainly something you want to do to kind of help you put that plan in place. Maybe talk before Thanksgiving about setting yourself up to know what you're going to do, or have some path, have some plan for what 2025 looks like for you. In addition, just one quick thing is if you do want to buy here at the end of the year, if you're looking to buy in November to close in December, your first house payment will be February 1st. If you're looking to make an offer in December to close in January, your first house payment would be March 1st. So we are at a point now where any of your house payments that could be scheduled, if you're getting a mortgage, could be pushed significantly into 2025 already here. So I really appreciate your time. Please reach out for anything with any questions that you might have. I am here to be your real estate resource. I hope you have a great weekend if I don't talk to you soon. Thank you.